So, just to firstly go into Newlands, and understand the company. So, in terms of being a property business in the agri space, can you please just talk through that?
Yes, although Emily would have been in a better position. I don't know if she's still.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, Emily, are you able to answer that? Because what for me, I'm actually a freelancer. I'm not part of the staff yet of Nulands.
Noted.
Yes, so Emily is in a better position to answer,
Ah, okay.
yeah, about the company.
Okay. I see that essentially develop properties. So would this be more for commercial use rather than um private residential?
Actually, it's private residential.
Oh, it's private residential.
Yeah,
Okay.
the company targets individual buyers who are
Okay.
looking to buy land to build homes.
Hello.
Ah, there we go. We can hear you now.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, good. Thank you for sorting that out, and now we can hear you. We just did. Oh, well, let me say, Tony gave an intro earlier, before you joined. So, if we could just get an intro from you, just to understand a bit better about your position in the company or responsibilities.
Um,
Thank you,
Hi.
Tony.
Thank you.
Okay, hi. My name is Emily, and have worked with Newlands for 3 years now. I've been working with them as a social media manager and also office administrator. So I've been posting uh, the projects that we have been doing, properties that we are selling, and also some value added uh, organic crops that we plant on our socials. So that's all I do. I'm a social media manager.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So Tony was explaining that the target market we're looking at for Newlands, well, the primary target market are individuals. Could you please expand on that to understand the business better?
Uh, yes, our target market is not only individuals. We also uh, target families. We also target groups like chamas to help them own and develop land in Kenya. So mostly we offer affordable land in prime locations and also provide opportunity for clients to acquire farmland, commercial, and even residential plots uh, with flexible terms. Um, for the agriculture, we offer farmland in Narok. That's where we have our gated farmlands, where we empower our clients to invest in agriculture. And we have been supporting some of our clients with sustainable practices, uh, especially in the production of chili, um, honey. We have done sunflower, hay. Um, we have also done some kales uh, and other type of seedlings, even the fruit trees. but mostly we deal with both individuals, families, and groups.
Thank you for that. So when you say groups, is it more community groups?
Groups like a chama.
Please elaborate.
Uh, there's these groups that they come together. Like it's like
Forum.
An investment group,
investment group, like a circle.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
small investment
Investment.
groups.
yeah,
Oh, like maybe we would say Stockville's,
yeah,
where people club together, save money, and invest in either property or mostly property, or they would buy assets together
Right.
like that.
yes, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So currently, where are you communicating with those groups
Uh,
or
my
families?
yes, my colleague. There is one colleague of mine. He's not here. He will have been the best person to answer that, because he has that database of. For example, I can give an example. Like maybe we have sold to one person, an individual, who is in a investment group. So when he or she is satisfied with our service and maybe the process of the land purchasing and even how efficient we have been with the process, she can come now and give us a referral to come and pitch to their investment group. So now, when the investment group is maybe satisfied with what we have pitched to them, now they can come together and decide if they would want to invest. So mostly we have gathered them through referrals. For the bigger groups like the investment groups, we have gathered them through referrals. But for the individuals, mostly I communicate to them through Facebook. We have gotten so many of them through Facebook and property platform like Buy Rent. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So on Facebook, that's where you would then identify the groups, engage with them, and then set up the meetings.
Yeah.
Okay. And then on LinkedIn, what would you say the focus has been? I see that you do share um more of what you offer, right? Have you done direct engagements on LinkedIn? Approached
No.
directly from LinkedIn?
No. Uh, we have not gotten any direct engagement from LinkedIn. Mostly we get through Facebook and Instagram. But on
Or
LinkedIn,
Instagram?
I've
Okay.
not gotten any leads, any direct engagement. But we do post blogs, which uh, my colleague Leah could have elaborate more about it. Because when I post blogs on LinkedIn, she gets the traffic on the website. Yeah. And then when
Yes.
they go on the website, they now communicate directly to my colleague now, Mr. Nzomo,
Yes.
who will get messages asking about a certain blog or a certain story that she has read about it. And then
Okay.
they continue from there. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Blogs are actually a great way for um I mean it's great pieces that are consumed very well on LinkedIn. So that's actually a great strategy that you've implemented already. And I see that they are like, it's just now to create a consistent flow of actually putting the writing there, even if it's not directly from the website. So Tony, in terms of leveraging off LinkedIn itself, we
Yeah.
could explore the newsletter articles
Right.
being on LinkedIn, right? So that the traffic there, you start building your own community on LinkedIn. So I think this is where you would come in to say, okay, even if it's it's monthly, right? Because I'm looking at right now we've got a featured post. Okay, so we've got everything that we've done on LinkedIn. It's sort of repurposed, right? It's
Right.
content that exists and it's been placed on LinkedIn. Am I correct?
That's correct.
So now we have to give attention to LinkedIn or the LinkedIn audience so that um, we are putting energy directly there, so that when they do come to the page and follow, we actually have put a strategy together, and we're putting content for that audience specifically, right?
Right.
So just to understand from you, Emily, do you use a content calendar?
Yes, we do use a content calendar.
Okay. And then in your content calendar, do you include LinkedIn?
Yes, we do include LinkedIn.
Okay. So currently on the calendar, it's just blog posts.
Yes, it's blog posts.
Okay. All right. So I'd suggest that we add newsletters, articles. I think that will give you a very high subscription rate on
Right.
LinkedIn.
Okay.
So it's now just to say, how do you tailor the content, right? Right
Okay.
now, they are followers. Just to have a look at the followers, the type of people that are following, and then you look into some of the profiles just to see their background. Are they into agri, or are they more into property itself, or are they more into investments? So that we can then start putting together the topics that would be most relevant to the current audience, right? Here someone is in. Alice. Okay, hi. Is Alice in? I'm not seeing Alice anymore. Oh, there we go. Okay. Hi, Alice.
Hi,
How's it going?
it's good.
Thank you for joining us. May you please just a short intro about yourself and your position in the team, just for context.
My name is Alice Gige. I work with a company called Nulands Limited, and I'm part of the marketing team. I work with Emily, who is currently on this call, on this session.
Thank you so much for the intro, Alice. I also realized I didn't introduce myself, so you may not know my name because of it's all of been speaking to Leah um, from the ERIC group. So just for context for everyone on the call, there should be one more person joining us, but I'll just give the intro now, and we can fill them in later on. So my name is Tato, um, from South Africa, Taton Klapo. I am in South Africa, the owner of Atlegile Marketing Solutions. We are a team of six. We specialize in digital marketing, although we do expand beyond marketing online. We do look at on the ground. My experience is from promotions to media, so it's been in the space for a decade now. So it kind of it gives away my age, even though I don't look like it, by the way. Um, yeah, so how we met with Leah is we in the same um we part of the same group, African Women Entrepreneurship Cohort. I'm an alumni. I believe she's still in the program. So we essentially do gifts. The EWIC does this annual gifting. So she claimed this gift for you as the team, so we can exchange value and just essentially, look at the brand and see how we can add and then impart what we know to the team. So that's just the background there. So Alice, we were discussing more about the target audience, understanding that, who are we, who is essentially buying into Newlands, and then now we're talking about the different channels. So Emily did say that Facebook is quite a big draw card. That's really where the groups are sitting, and some of the business is coming from there. Although it's from referrals, understood, and so it's more of going directly to the groups and pitching, and then that's that's the one-on-one engagement that brings the business in without having to elaborate too much more into that, because another colleague is the one that's responsible for that element of business development. Correct, Emily?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're talking about LinkedIn specifically, because looking at the page, what we're doing at the moment is having to take content that exists on the website and pushing it through to LinkedIn. So it's working, right? It's effective at the moment. However, to build that community and having that online presence, and actually paying attention to the followers that are on the page, would have to have a strategy specifically speaking to that audience. So what we're discussing now is having newsletters slash articles that, even if it's not long form pieces like what we have on the site, it can be compressed bites of content that are written specifically, like content that is written specifically for LinkedIn, right? Looking at the current audience. So we'd have to just evaluate slightly, because there's already an audience of 280 followers. So just to see, okay, are these is the audience coming from an investment background, or are they more interested in agriculture? Is it about property? Just to know which topics to zoom into first as the audience builds on, right? So Emily, I'm assuming every month, or let me just find out, how new is the page, the LinkedIn page?
The LinkedIn page.
Yes.
It has been there for a while because when I joined Newlands, I was added as an admin by the previous person who was managing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means every month, we should invite 250 people. Leverage off that so the following can build up quickly. Are
Okay.
you currently inviting anyone to the page?
Yes. I've been inviting people to the page because it was the followers were around 120 when I had the account. So I managed to add up to 280, but
Right.
I still continue to invite people on our page.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in terms of your personal following, how many connections do you have roughly?
On the Newlands page or mine?
Your personal one.
My personal one, I have connection is 464.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Alice, how is your LinkedIn connection, your networks?
About 102.
Okay, Tony.
My connections, I would have to I'm just opening my LinkedIn page just right now.
Sure. Do you,
I'll yes, just give me a second, but let's continue. I'll
okay.
give.
Do you write a lot on LinkedIn?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you
I
must
have,
have
I have, sorry.
yeah, I'm just saying you must have a great following.
Yes, I have a separate blog, and I also freelance for. I have a separate company that I run. Their LinkedIn page. It's called Nairobi Rapporteur Services. So I've been
Okay.
writing articles, and I've been active on LinkedIn through those other forums, the blog and the other company.
Ah, okay. Okay. So just because you may not be on the page as an admin, perhaps Emily, I would suggest adding Tony if he's not already on as a content admin, so he can first of all push the content that's been written, analyze the market. Are you currently on, Tony?
No, I'm not yet on the
Not.
Nulands LinkedIn
Okay.
page.
Okay. So he can analyze the audience, right? And then share the content directly on LinkedIn, and then invite his personal connections, because the people that are already following Tony follow his writing. Um, so we can leverage off the networks that are already existing. Like he's saying, is quite connected to a number of you could say network spin-offs from the projects if it's freelancing on. So just to leverage off an audience that's already familiar, because then you'll start seeing that number grow very quickly, and then have an audience to build from, that can then subscribe to the newsletters. Because the reason so I'm a very big advocate of LinkedIn, because already when someone goes on LinkedIn, they are in business mode, so they are ready to receive content that is linked to business or a transaction or some form of value exchange. So it's a very ready market, that we should tap into. It's brilliant that Newlands has a LinkedIn, I mean, an IG poll that brings business. So that's really, really great. I'll come on to IG just now. So just to wrap up on LinkedIn on what we can do as a starter. Tony, are you all good now?
Yes, I have 230 connections on LinkedIn.
Okay, 230 connections. And then so collectively, because Emily is already invited hers, we okay, I would then suggest maybe even with Leah and the other team member, um to start building a personal following, because that will push the traffic to Newlands.
Right.
Because the credits that you have every month from LinkedIn, the 250 credits, I see them as like money, um, like real credits, in a sense of the value that you get from inviting the people. Obviously, it's an easy click to follow, So having that many, it means that already, if Emily is inviting, she's already maxed out her followers, let's say for month 1 and 2. And then Alice comes in, she will have maxed out half, and then you come in, Tony. So each one can come in with and invite their networks. And then we know that, okay, we're looking at almost 1,000 followers just from that activity. And then it will build on with the newsletter following. It will just keep increasing from there. So
Can you do the same for Facebook?
sorry,
That's the-
please say that again.
can the same be? can the same strategy be used for Facebook or just LinkedIn?
This one is particularly for LinkedIn. In terms of Facebook, definitely. I would say everybody. I mean, what's great about Facebook is you can invite 1,000 people at once, so everyone can definitely do that. Although, I mean, actually, for this particular brand, it's perfect because you are looking at families. So it means that the focus there, right, would be more speaking to the individual from a building generational wealth point of view, Tony, with the writing, because you're talking to an individual from a I'm at home, I'm comfortable, from that sense, right? So they're not in business mode. But then if you talk to them from a point of this is what you can build for your family, now you're reaching their heart, and you're also opening up their minds. So right now it would be a balance between informing, right? Educating to say, look at what you can do with land, right? Obviously, land is a big topic in Africa, right? And also looking at the agriculture, we can even zoom in and say, without having to convince, within the writing, but just to inform and educate. So we could go into certain topics like chili farming, right? We know that, okay, with chili farming, what are the benefits of chili farming, and why is it important why would it be a lucrative, say, farming activity that one should invest in? Is it a growing market in Kenya or certain parts of Kenya? So for LinkedIn, that type of content will need to be backed up with stats, right? So all the did you know, this is what's happening, sunflower oil. We know that oil prices have increased. How does that impact? Linking sunflower with the oil prices would be interesting for people on LinkedIn. Then fruit trees are more of what Facebook audience would want to hear about, because this is something that they can grow, and they can easily learn how to grow. So perhaps, if there's anyone here that's more product in the I know we're marketing, so we kind of just take the product and put it to market. But if there's anyone here that could share some depth in the products, and why Leah perhaps has chosen these, why agriculture, right? Then we can talk more about why we're driving agriculture. I mean, we can use land for commercial use by building an office park. Why are we into agriculture? Why do we believe in this form of like reproducing on land, using land? So all those touch points, and maybe you can even share in this meeting now, just to give light at all those touch points, then start opening up the minds of the people. And the next time you send a post, it's like you keep educating the market, so someone that's following the page will always be glued to the page because there's new information that you're providing. So I think that's why the blogs are quite effective, because someone who's interested in that topic immediately shoots straight to the site. So how we can link it back to the site, Tony, is that all the long form pieces, that, okay, we've written about, let me look at this, transform land into income. So this is about GDP. So this is actually perfect, speaks about the percentage and everything. So you've spoken about um the transforming land into income, right? So when the piece that we're writing, that organic piece that's specifically to LinkedIn, that you're writing about, at the end can have a link that says, for more information about this, click here. And then they're going to the blog link, right? They go into the site, and then they can engage with the company from there. So we can link the the blog posts for more information still in that way, but create organic pieces on LinkedIn, because even LinkedIn will start recognizing as a contributor, and realizing that, because not many people create content on LinkedIn. They share, they like, they celebrate. Not too many people are actually organically bringing out new pieces of content on LinkedIn. So you'd probably be part of the 3%. It's less than 3% that do that. So it will catch on when there's consistency, because the algorithm will be able to pick up that, wow, there's new information, that new as in like it's not found anywhere on the internet. So they will then prioritize the the page, and it will appear on most more search results, right? It will come up on the feed of your followers as well, so then you'll start having your organic traffic and engagement from there. So just to know, is there a specific reason why agriculture for the land use?
Can I answer that?
Yes.
Okay. For agriculture, we Kenya is okay. Kenya and just Africa in general, we have many farming communities, especially in the rural areas. And one of the reasons is that there's plenty of land that is still yet to be cultivated in the rural areas, and we see it as an opportunity, first of all, to create job opportunities for young people all over the country. And we also see our weather in Kenya. Our climate is favorable for agriculture, and we have predictable rain seasons and dry seasons. So we know the crop cycle would produce the required harvest within a certain time of the year. So we take advantage of those, and we encourage our readers and everyone who either is interested in passive income or interested in farming as a career to take up the profession. And we use our website as a source of information for them to realize what is happening in the industry or in the sector, and how they can start, or how they can enter the the profession uh, without either maybe going back to class, or without even going too far to get the information that they need. So we have
Absolutely.
implemented it as such an opportunity for anyone who is interested, and anyone who needs to boost their incomes, their source of income. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. So now, anyone who is interested, it means that there isn't a specific criteria, right? As long as you have like maybe base funds to buy the land, which if you're saying it's more in the rural areas, it's actually not even too expensive, right? It's
Right.
reasonable. Okay.
It's very reasonable.
Okay. Okay, so now we can talk about the journey here. This is where now the process of let's say from acquisition to farming can come in to the content that we share, right? And it's we sort of selling essentially what we do, but in an informative way, because everything here is really purpose driven. I really can feel the change that Newlands is bringing to Kenyan, well, yeah, to the country, in a sense that growing this is actually growing communities and how they make money, right? You spoke about job creation, and the fact that you don't need a certain level of education to understand what to do. So we can take that process and just sort of simplify it, almost say like from land acquisition, we teach you how to farm, right? Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so now the teaching how to farm, we can bring in specifics like how long it takes, as long as you have XYZ, which could mean as long as you have time, you have the passion, or so we're talking about intangibles here, meaning anyone can relate to, oh, I'm sitting, I don't, um, I'm not, maybe I'm not employed, so I have time, or actually I have, because there's quite a long list of what can be produced on the land. um, one could have could have a passion for healthy living, or some sort of, we could write on a lot, right? So even bees, or because there's honey and then there's all of that. So the bringing in the process can come in that way. So then when someone engages, they actually already know that um, the first step is we will acquire the land, or maybe that's not even the first step. The first step is an evaluation process, depending on the region they're in, or, so just to describe what one has to go through to actually get to a point where they farming, the end point, which is um selling the fruits, right? Reaping the fruits and selling them. Because then that on its own, I mean, these are like two businesses in one. That on its own is a business, so you actually creating entrepreneurship here as well. You're teaching people how to be self-sufficient, to eat from the ground that they live on, kind of approach. So all of that can be part of the content, and in stages, right? So this is the first stage, and then the growing process. So once summer hits, or this season hits, then this is, so it's like educating people in different fields, right? Because um let's say how sunflower grows is not the same way as how you harvest with honey when it comes to honey, right? So meaning we can have
Correct.
different topics, different processes, and then communicate all the different ways in which one can use the land. So that broadens the content. So Emily, when we then have the content plan, right, it can then speak to, all right, this month we're focusing on um honey, right? Or not even honey, like maybe for the next 2 weeks it's honey. And then depending on the season as well, be quite strategic. You know that, okay, right now it's mango season. So we can actually talk about that, right? Or yeah, citrus. So whichever is applicable at the time. Winter, we can talk about, oranges. So all of that will then be in the calendar, and you'll find that you actually now have a 3 month or 3 to 6 month calendar, that's filled with different topics that Tony can then know that, okay, this week I'm producing content that will then speak to this topic, and then he knows what to focus on. And then um what I wanted to talk about actually is, Emily, having a certain look, because now you've got Instagram, you've got beautiful stories, you've also got video content. Now it's about us packaging it in a uniformed way, right? So having a brand, a strong brand identity. So when someone goes on the page, we're very deliberate about how they see everything.
Okay.
So because each post here is um is different. Um I see there is a commonality when we are showing the greenery, right? So then it starts having a thread. But if we're going to, let's say now we've got happy, Happy Zamhuri. Happy, no, Jamhuri, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we know that, okay, anything that we celebrate, we put it in a certain format. If we're saying Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, we're putting it in a certain format, right?
Mhm.
If we are talking about sales, we put them in a certain format. So now this is where design will come in. So Emily, are you the one responsible for putting the posts together, like designing them too,
Yeah.
creating? Yeah. Okay. What are you using? Are you using Canva to do
Yes,
that?
I'm using Canva.
Okay. Um, so I'm going to share the screen. And then we can just have a like a nice uh a quick session on Canva. Um, maybe where we can create an Instagram post, right?
Okay.
Okay, together.
Great.
Just going to open up Instagram, square post, and then share the screen. Okay, so what is your process usually when you create a post? Do you receive images and then start creating the post using the images, or do you go with research first, or what usually happens for you to start a post?
Uh, it depends with what is scheduled. So mostly I do research first, then I use the images that I have.
Or the images that you have?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's say what would be a topic right now that we can go into?
Mm, on the content calendar, or we can just say farming.
Yes. Oh, we can just okay. All
Yeah.
right. Um, okay. So then we can, let's see, this one. We can have different pieces, right? So you obviously, do you usually start from scratch?
Most of the time I start from scratch.
Most of the time you start from scratch. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We can start from scratch, but although what I wanted to to because you have more of this type of imagery on there, right?
Yeah.
So because this is so this would be lovely as a background because it's essentially um it's not really speaking specific to maybe what you would be talking about, but it's a lovely background. This can speak to possibly generational wealth, although it feels very like old like, but
Mhm.
it also can represent uh maybe the underdeveloped areas. Um, this could speak more just to the business of it. But what I wanted to get into is what we can use to not start from scratch, right? So let's see. Let's see what we can do here. Do you usually look at templates maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. So we would have to build a certain theme, right? I think I saw something that looks nice. This is quite similar to what we have here,
Yeah.
right? So it's just like another way in which we could use it as a background, right?
Yeah.
So okay, this is more of an event, a webinar, which could be a really great way of educating the market live, right? Um, since you have YouTube, um, you have an audience there that, and LinkedIn, once the audience is there, one can also use this more to communicate, learn about, or investing in agriculture and talk about that. Obviously, this would have to be led by someone that's very comfortable speaking. Probably Leah would take this on. Someone who's who's got like depth in the just how everything works, functions, from the agricultural point of view. Also, you can invite some of key players in the industry, perhaps even invite like a minister or just someone in the space that you can interview, right? Um, one so if the business was after a certain let's say a certain group, like let's say in I'm just going to say Stockfells, because I think we have a common understanding of what the groups are there, right? So we could like interview a leader of the forum, right?
Right.
You know that instead of going to pitch to him what the business does, you could invite him to a webinar and find out about the investments. How do they invest? What do they believe in? You know, what do they think about the agricultural space? And in property, what do they look for? That on its own is just a whole um, content strategy that will lead to business with that particular forum, because now you would have created a relationship and everyone would love to be interviewed. So instead of pitching, it could turn around to inviting them onto um, the Newlands space or platform, or you know, Newlands grounds, or you'll have like a creative way of putting it. But that, I just thought, let me just throw a seed there. um pun intended, and we and you can explore that. But reels, do you do a lot of reels? Because I see a lot of square content, right? I just
Yeah.
want to go back to the page and just check on the reels. um or is it more of, okay, it's more of sharing what's real, right, than actually curating, creating the post.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I would suggest that we move more towards the reels, because uh, let's just go here. Let's go um let's go reel, so we can get some just a different way in which we can portray. It would be new for the business, new for the brand. Let's go food. Okay. Um, something like that, right?
Hmm.
We have a lot of options over here as well. This looks lovely. So can you see now you're starting to use what you have. So even the video content that you have can then be, obviously, if we had a lot more time, we would go into post creation. But I just thought that um, just to kick off, right? Let's switch the content and make sure that now if we start using a certain format, maybe for the next three posts they could have a similar format. This is static, so let me just check how it moves. Okay, so that's more static in my view. So let's look at this one, okay, because it moves more. All right. So then we could talk about, I mean, we know that when it comes to captions, Tony will bring in the words there, right? So for Reels, though, the captions are very short. This is another way that we can um, add information. So we've got the first bit. So um, this could be farming fruits, about farming fruits, right?
Yeah.
Um, learning how to farm fruits, and then the content can sit here. Where let's choose that background again. Okay, and go with that. Okay. Okay, and then we want to obviously make it a background, so we'll just dim it some more. Okay, so we can have some white space to write, but we can also add blocks, right? Where we can, let's go text box, so banner. No, banner is too short, so let's go text box. Okay. I'll just take a simple one for now. Just that one. But let me just check if there's anything. Okay, this is more long format. And we can change our colors, as you know. So this would be on brand, right? And now we've got our text box for John to provide, I mean, Tony, sorry, to provide the information. Okay. So I'm just going to add just some text there to see how it looks, right? So this could be a nice heading there or there, right? And then the wording here about you know the topics that we spoke about, whether it's how to farm it or it being the season, why, what, like anything maybe about the fruits themselves, so the info there. Obviously, making sure that the logo is on every single frame, right? So we usually have a symbol instead of having the logo all the time. So just to give you context of what I mean. So this is the logo, but then this is a symbol. So instead of having the logo on every piece, let me just drop this here. We would then have a symbol in the corner. So every time someone is watching, right? Because now we're using information to communicate. We're not exactly selling the business, right? So some form of identity of the business must always be present, because when someone takes a screenshot, then there's this is where it's taken from, right? It leads back to the business. So every frame will have that. So I'm just going to drop this one for the sake of time. And then it can run there. And then at the end, we'll have our closing. Let me just go back to designs and see if there's anything that we can pick up from there. This is also quite lovely. Then we can have your video content like that. If you have multiple videos, we could do that. Let me just choose this one and just change the background back to this one. Okay, so I've just copied it over. Pasting it. Oh, just copied the whole thing. So rather, let me just drop it in so it's easier. Just drop it in. Just so it continues that theme. And then you can drop in all those different videos or make it one whole video in the background, and then we remove that. But this would be more of an end slide than anything, right? So it's just another way of us creating a a piece for the video content, right? Instead of just posting the video. And then this is where people can find us. So something like that. Um, or um, visit Nulands for more info. Then we'll put the website address there. But this is just to give that idea. Obviously, so what I believe is that as long as there's a form of identity, right? So you'll have the logo. But if you already say Newlands, then you don't you don't have to, because someone already can connect with that. Um, it will. So what I'm basically saying, especially with a LinkedIn audience, we don't have to shout. We can just have, as long as there's Newland somewhere, there's either a symbol or or the logo itself, right? It will really depend. But let's just, as long as, let me just do that. As long as it's there, as long as the name is there, the if it's a website that we have here, I know it's dot. Let's make it small. I know that it's dot ke, right? So I'm just gonna put that as an example here, right? Then you'll have it there, or visit for more info, something like that. Now you've got your video packaged in a certain format. Here you're informing, and then here you're leading people. So it's a powerful intro. Obviously, I would suggest a different um, video or imagery, right? So that when someone is scrolling on Canva, they're not really finding the same piece of content. So just to do your best to have it unique, and I'm sure you've got a lot of content that you've already captured. Okay, so a striking intro, information, and then a nice close off, just so that they know where to go from here. But from there, you've got a format for the reels. So when someone sees a reel, they can already connect and know that this is a Newlands post, because it's in a certain format that they can quickly, easily identify as they scroll through. But yeah, any questions from the team? Let me just stop sharing.
I have a question.
Sure, Tony.
So all that is just can be processed just through Canvas.
Mhm. Sorry, can you please repeat that? Are you saying the whole process we can do it through Canva?
Yeah, the reels.
Yes.
Okay, so we can use it now to create or to enhance our content for our audience,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes. Because you'll supply the wording,
Yeah.
and then Emily's putting together the content. I'm assuming, Alice, you're also involved in the content creation, or are you more of handling the distribution and the customer service?
Yeah, more in handling distribution and customer service.
Okay. All right. So Tony, then Emily will take that content and then um use it when she's creating. So you could even maybe simplify it and collaborate together on Canva. So so that even when it goes out, then you've provided the caption, so you know that, okay, with reels, because as well, just to be careful with reels, is that you know there's that, because it fills up the screen. At the bottom of the screen, there's that information, so we can't put anything there when we're creating the reel. But then when she knows that, okay, this will go out with this, add an emoji of what, maybe the fruit or the leaf or whatnot, but essentially, and the hashtags, they will go there. So I think this will definitely be more of a collaborative process. And if you want to bring in a more colorful, creative flair into it, then you both can collaborate in creating the content pieces. So it's not just providing words, but more of your input as well as to how the words can be packaged, how to package the content.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alice, anything from your side regarding what you specifically focus on the customers?
Mm, Well, since my work is mostly on site,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
yeah, there's not much from my end regarding the topic.
Okay. All right. Noted. Um, yeah, I think if the team is obviously wanting to expand more into the content creation pieces, because I really think that you already have um the the biggest part uh, you know done so well, which is the fact that you've got writing as an asset, so essentially it's about structuring the the way in which you would continue writing, and then delivering is as important as the content itself. So how it's packaged, it it can just make it land in such an effective way that the content itself can then be consumed because
Right.
it's captured, as one scrolls through all especially because Instagram is about beauty, so everything there has to be really beautiful. Whereas on LinkedIn, everything there just has to be well written,
Right.
and then we can have a picture just to have it as a header but Tony, just to answer what you're saying, everything can be done on Canva, even
Right.
including the banners. Yeah, the blog banners, the article banners.
Yeah.
Right. Trust everyone is all good and
I forgot
um
to mention something, Ado.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that I also do transcription. I think I heard you talking about
Mm.
recording this conversation.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, for
So
captions.
just in case you need it transcribed into text so that you can use it maybe and refer to it later or post it.
Oh,
Uh,
lovely.
yes.
Okay, now I know also for just yeah.
That was just about the way.
Future
It's not a
projects.
marketing speech.
Yes. But
Yes.
it's also it helps for accessibility as well.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So especially because LinkedIn is more of a visual than audio
Yeah.
um consumption place. I mean, it would be great for and sometimes these auto captions they don't come out accurately.
They're not perfect, right?
Yes, so I'll definitely share that with you just to have a squiz before we publish.
Sure. Sure.
Thank you so much, team. Please send my regards to Emily. I saw she dropped off.
Oh yeah, she had dropped off. Yes. Sure.
Mm, all right. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you so much for
And
your time.
yeah, I'm looking forward. I'll be following.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Bye.
All right. Bye. Bye, Alice.
Bye. Bye.